Prince Harry's charity work is facing another major setback. Reilly Sullivan is a lifestyle reporter here at skynews.com.au and he's always across the latest celebrity headlines. Reilly, great to see you.
Great to be back.
So this non-profit organisation, African Parks, of which Prince Harry is a board member and was a former president, has been accused of not doing enough to stop poaching, and now the Chad government has cut ties with the charity. Is that right?
That's right, Gab. This has been a sort of big update from the government in Chad. They have officially said that African Parks can no longer be in charge of managing these two major reserves in their country. This comes after a period of alleged sort of mismanagement of the parks. They said that African Parks was not doing enough to kind of clamp down on poaching. Of course, this is a charity that's all about preserving the natural world in Chad, and this has been a problem. You know, poaching is a huge issue. You know, these endangered species really have such a small amount of land, and I guess the safety of the animals has just been compromised. So I think that African Parks has allegedly not done enough. There's also been issues about mismanagement in terms of the staff, the people working in the reserves. Again, as you said, Harry is a board member on this charity. That's not to say that he has a lot to do with the day-to-day operations, but of course, any organisation that has the Duke of Sussex on the masthead, it's important, I think, for him to have a lot of transparency about how it's being operated. I think that this is an issue that is more to do with the government of Chad and the people in charge of the charity day-to-day, but I do think that the larger effect, especially months after the Sentebale saga in Lesotho, I think it's really a sign that Harry probably needs to really sit down and reassess, okay, what is my name actually on? What charities am I representing? And are they above board? Because this is really the second time now where a major charity associated with Prince Harry has been accused of misconduct.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, has visited the Democratic Republic of the Congo for a landmark trip to raise awareness about sexual violence in war. What can you tell us about this visit?
Yeah, this was a really moving visit from the Duchess of Edinburgh. She has championed now for over a decade the issue of sexual violence in war. This is a harrowing issue. It's something that unfortunately does not get a lot of headlines. She took a discreet visit to the Democratic Republic of Congo last week. That was not reported on before she arrived. It was only reported on after she left. The reason for that was her safety. So, you know, when you're going into a zone like that, and also dealing with such a kind of serious confronting issue, she was there to raise awareness for the issue. There was also a group of doctors there that were dealing with women and girls that have been impacted by this issue. It's really kind of taken on a huge sort of media profile. I think that is really the power of the Duchess of Edinburgh, to give an issue that is so serious and is happening all over the world. You know, Sophie's also visited Ukraine before. She's visited war zones, and I think that she has done so much to really raise awareness for an issue. And I think that this really comes back to what this monarchy is all about. It's not just tiaras, it's not just state banquets. You know, when they're really out there in the field, like Sophie does so well, she can raise awareness for these really serious issues that unfortunately are not talked about enough.
Now, King Charles is set to open the gates to Windsor Castle for visitors, and he's offering a special discount for pensioners. Is there a message behind this?
Yeah, you know, this is a really, I think, a nice, heartwarming story that came out this week. So basically, over the period, kind of the Christmas period between November and the end of January, some of the royal palaces are open to the public. So Windsor Castle being one of them, they're open for ticket holders. You can purchase a ticket. It's usually about £35, which is, you know, for tourists coming to the UK, that's probably not a lot. They probably think that that's a pretty good deal to see a royal palace up close. But of course, you know, there are a lot of people in the UK doing it tough. And I think that this was an initiative that was designed to allow more access to the royal residences and all the artefacts, you know, the history of the UK, really. And I think as much as the Windsor Castle and the palaces are the residence of the royal family, they're also really the people's palace. So I think that the message here from the trust that oversees the palaces was that they want more access, more people to be able to appreciate and enjoy these things. I think it's a wonderful message, and for any pension holders, all different types of pension holders in the UK will be eligible for the £1 deal. And I think, what a lovely message and a great time of year as well, because if you go at this time of year, you get to see the garlands and all the Christmas decorations. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it as well. And there's growing speculation that Meghan Markle could be coming back to the UK just in a couple of months' time following the Duchess's trip to Paris. What more can you tell us about this?
Yeah, well, this has been another one that sort of comes up again. It really began, I think, this renewed speculation of her returning to the UK when she came to Paris for Fashion Week. I think that was such a pretty well-timed appearance by Meghan. It was well received. I think people kind of liked seeing the glamour of her and the flowing, beautiful Balenciaga gown. And I think that the theory is that she might come for London Fashion Week, which is fall-winter 2025-2026 shows in February. There's a theory now that she might appear at that. I think that, it's not out of the realm of possibility. We know that she does love fashion. She really put that on the back burner. But if she's sort of showing up at Fashion Week again, I think that it's not out of the realm of possibility. And I think it might actually be a nice icebreaker for Meghan to show up at something like that, just sort of come for a couple days, go to a fashion show, be photographed, and then it kind of breaks the ice in the UK. And then if she does want to come back, say, for the Invictus Games in, 2 years' time, I think that might smooth the pathway a little bit.
Okay, we'll watch this space.
Yeah.
Now, renovations are well underway on the Wales' family new home, Forest Lodge. So what do we know about Kate's special touches on the new home?
Yeah, reportedly, Kate is really emphasising a kind of off-the-grid approach to Forest Lodge. So as we've talked about on this show before, it's a huge home, it's in Windsor Great Park, and it has a lot of land around it, and it's quite secluded, and that was what they wanted. They wanted privacy. And I think that Kate is really spearheading a kind of eco-friendly approach. I think that she wants very organic, she wants to grow food on the property, she wants to keep it sort of sustainable energy-wise. I don't know if she's going to put solar panels on the roof, but certainly the message that is coming out from sources is that, yeah, she's really emphasising a kind of off-the-grid approach. And I think as well, that really ties into what William was saying recently in that interview when he was talking about how the Wales children are not allowed to have phones, that they're encouraged to be outdoors and to be sporty. So I think this is all part of that. I think that the home is really going to be their forever home, as we say, and there's going to be a lot of kind of emphasis on the outdoors and sport, which, again, I think a great message.
Absolutely. Yeah. Reilly Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.